There is no feeling comparable to starting a new arc of the Trails series. The blend of familiar and new makes the opening games fascinating. Adding on to the anticipation for me is how long it has been since I felt like I was starting a new arc for the series. That alone would be enough, but then we have the upgraded graphics engine for Daybreak, finally getting to see Calvard properly, a new combat system, and from what I have heard, a darker tone. Daybreak is likely to feel fairly different from Cold Steel, and if it can pull that off while retaining the amazing character work and writing the Trails series is known for, then I am ready to jump all in again. It's another opportunity for the series to get attention and a possible jumping on point for those interested in the Trails series who haven't given it a try thus far. The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak, also known as Kuro no Kiseki, is an RPG developed by Nihon Falcom and localized and published in the West by NIS America. This is the first game in the series that turns away from fully turn-based combat, although that is still the majority focus, but I'll get into that more when talking about the gameplay. Trails Through Daybreak is the first game in the Calvard arc and the 11th game overall in the Trails series, a game series with an interconnected world and gradual time progression starting back with Trails in the Sky. Trails Through Daybreak came out in Japan in September of 2021 for the PS4. Since then it has received ports to PS5, PC, and Switch, all for Japan or China. A demo was announced to be released on June 4th, containing the prologue for Switch, and the prologue and Chapter 1 for PS4 and PS5. Demo progress will carry over to the main game upon release. Unfortunately, it seems PC has been cut out once again. The worldwide release of Trails Through Daybreak will be on July 5th, 2024 for PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. Trails Through Daybreak stars Van Arkwright, a Spriggan, basically a private investigator who sits on the seedier side of society. Arkwright's solutions will take the jobs from those who don't want to or can't go to the police or bracer guild. Doesn't care too much about who the clientele are, but sometimes a unique opportunity arises. The job in this case comes from Agnes Claudel, a character whose name completely threw me off when I finally heard it aloud. You're sure it's not Agnes? Agnes it is. A high school student at Aramis High. Their job will bring them into contact with groups as disparate as the Bracers and Ouroboros, as well as with notable individuals in Calvardian society. Can Van complete the job while navigating through the quagmire that is the politics of Calvard and his varied history with some of the people we'll meet along the way? Even early on, we can see that Trails Through Daybreak is following through on the series' strengths. We have an intriguing new cast, some of whom have past connections that will make discovering their backstory very satisfying. We know some of the returning characters, and I'm sure they will enhance the overall storyline from those we have recently seen to those we haven't seen in a little while. Bringing it all together is our new protagonist Van, who is already shown to be a different kind of character from previous protagonists like Lloyd and Reen. He has been through some stuff and has a lazy, doesn't care too much attitude that belies the sweetness behind the exterior, especially when it comes to sweets. Overall, it is a sign of a different tone that I discussed earlier, a tone that matches the investigative, behind-the-scenes work that Van does, and is very different from the school settings of Trails of Cold Steel. I'm looking forward to seeing Van's story along with Agnes and the other characters. Trails' character work is always excellent, and the seeds of a great journey and significant growth for the cast have been sown. Then we also have the world building, the part of the games that makes the Trails series so unique, and having our journey finally reach the other big power on the Zemirian continent, Calvard, after spending so much time in Erebonia, the other power, is a significant advantage for the story moving forward. And I am more than happy to dive right into the politics, economics, technology, and of course, the day-to-day lives of the people of Calvard. The biggest thing for the story, though, for new and old players to understand alike, is the alignment system that will play a role in the game. You will get choices throughout the game and certain quests that will change your alignment and alter what path you head down in the game. This massively increases replayability, of course, but it does strike me as a somewhat odd choice for a series that is so concerned with story continuity. Nevertheless, I am intrigued to give it a try and see what comes of the different decisions I can make. While the theme of Daybreak is change, from location and story to combat and exploration, it is also nice to see that the structure of the gameplay will adhere to the classic style. You have a set of missions to complete, required ones and not required ones. The required ones progress the story, and the not required ones you can complete for additional money, items, and any other bonuses you can gain from them. There are plenty of side quests and characters to interact with, which always offers a stronger narrative experience because of the level of detail included in these events and the insights they give into the population of the area and their daily concerns. What's more, the kind of characters who will be talking to Van are a different sort from different backgrounds from previous entries, since he skirts around the edges of the law. I'm sure there will be plenty of the usual quests as Arkwright Solutions completes its work, and that's more than enough to make me feel comfortable diving into the areas of the game that are changed from prior entries. Trails Through Daybreak's combat is part expansion, part refinement, and part return to basics for the system. The expansion comes in the form of the action combat from the field. While battles in Cold Steel could be initiated and altered based on field actions, now you can complete entire encounters in an action mode. You can also use it to gain an advantage before switching in to take down the enemies in a more traditional turn-based style. I already found in the demo that this made exploring areas far easier and more fluid than before. Taking care of small fry quickly and efficiently makes the game flow all the smoother. Once you're into the regular battle system though, you'll have your standard attack, special skills called crafts, and magical abilities called arts. Pay attention to the turn order bar at the top of the screen to know when you're going to go and take advantage of any turn order bonuses that appear. While proper positioning has mattered in the series before, it is to a new degree in Daybreak. Now you'll have specific skills that do more damage from the side, akin to Xenoblade Chronicles system. Standing close to allies is also how you trigger follow-up attacks and boost to your crafts and arts. This edition adds new dimensions to combat to consider. Finally, the art system, which is determined by setting quartz into your orbments, this time is more reminiscent of Trails in the Sky system, where you set quartz and gain abilities based on the type and variety of the quartz instead of specific arts quartz. To give an example, in Trails of Cold Steel, you would occasionally have quartz that were specific arts, like the Silver Thorn quartz. That wasn't the case in Trails in the Sky. To get certain abilities, you would have to get a certain type of quartz in place, and that's more akin to how Trails Through Daybreak does this. You set the quartz into the slots and gain arts. In addition, there are different areas to slot the quartz into, whether that is weapon, shield, drive, or extra. You can get shard skills on top of that to use in battle. I'm still doing my best to try and figure out the system, but it's already been a lot of fun and I'm looking forward to experimenting with my party setup. Overall, the combat changes receive a preliminary positive reaction from me, especially the action combat part. It makes clearing enemies in an area so much easier. One thing that's notably absent from Trails Through Daybreak, to my disappointment, is mini-games. The series has quite a few excellent mini-games that have featured in recent games, and Daybreak includes none of them. Not even fishing. You will still have chances to collect recipes and books, so that collection part of the game remains, but no card games and no pom-pom party, and as I said before, no fishing. Certainly these minigames are not the primary appeal of the Trails series, but I've always adored them, so to not have any of them in Daybreak is a bit of a letdown personally. What is not a letdown in any way are the visuals for Trails Through Daybreak. We finally have the first game from Falcom on their new in-house engine. I love Nihon Falcom's games, but they have always been known for being behind the times visually. This updated and improved graphical system doesn't fully catch them up, but the smoother animation and sharper visuals are more than enough to make me satisfied. The style of the characters is on full display in a way that shows them off in a different light from previous Trails characters, and I think fits the more mature arc that Daybreak is supposed to be compared to Cold Steel. I'll also say it's nice to see some new, more subtle animations. Beyond the visuals, we have the music, which sounds similar in quality to the last couple Trails games, which is alright. We also have a cast of characters with new voices, and having heard their performances through the demo and character trailers, I'm currently very impressed with the cast of voice actors the team has put together. I'm looking forward to seeing how they work and grow in these roles for Daybreak and future games as well. UI and UX wise, I think overall things are still heading in a positive direction. I'm not the biggest fan of the new turn order bar on the top of the screen, but I am a huge fan of seeing the effectiveness of certain attacks and prompts without having to go into menus to do so. It'll take some time to adjust to all the changes, especially with the new hybrid combat mode. Like many others, I initiated a battle in turn-based mode instead of continuing to actively attack by instinct a couple of times, but I already feel pretty comfortable with the controls and actions, which is great this early on in a new entry. I also noted, since I don't usually play on Switch, but did so for the demo, that the port was better than I expected. I hope this stays the case, since Switch players deserve as good of ports as PC players get courtesy of PS3 games. PS4 though, I'm sorry, you're always going to be limited by just how Falcom license things out for these releases. At least you get Chapter 1 as well in your demo. Trails Through Daybreak has shown us a lot already to make me excited, but there's even more hidden behind what we've seen. Further depth, more systems, plenty of twists, and I for one am looking forward to all of it. A lot of Trails fans need no further convincing for the game and likely have been chomping at the bit for some time, maybe played through the demo several times too. For those who are new and are looking for a game with significant story depth, a varied and fun hybrid combat system, and some of the best world building in RPGs, Trails Through Daybreak would be up your alley. I'm looking forward to chatting more with people new and old upon release for what Daybreak has to offer and what we can look forward to even more when Crimson Sin comes around, likely next year. For now though, our wait continues. Let's enjoy the build-up and get the word out. Thank you for watching. If you would be so inclined, likes, comments, and shares are appreciated. Subscribe if you have not already to keep up with my Daybreak coverage, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day and happy gaming.